Friday, May 13th, Brooklyn, New York. Are you ready to play a wicked mass as Ride Along presents Midnight Mass, the Ultra Glow Fest. Everything must glow. Junior George official birthday party featuring live from Grenada for the very first time. Little Jello.
Why not Ginger?
Jello.
And you're playing bad guy.
Together with the Energy Kings of Soca, Looney Spark and Electrify Live. Also coming to shell the place down, it's Mr. Lex and Denise Sosiwa Belfon. All going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. Get your Oliver tickets for only $30 more at the door. Get them on Eventbrite, nightmass.eventbrite.com. And for more details, 718-701-5720. Your DJs, DJ Hot Stepper, Lil B, and DJ Spice. It's Midnight Mass, the Ultra Glow Fest. Glow sticks on entry. Wear something white. Midnight Mass. Inside of Brooklyn, 178 Newport Street.
Well, it's on Ride Along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess we call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Ride Along Live, I mean, yeah, it's the real deal.
Take a.
Welcome. How you guys doing? Welcome to Ride Along Live for today. Yes. I'm here in the flesh. How are you doing, my friends, supporters, fans? Ah, Lord. Mary, how you doing? Yeah. All right. Marlene, how you doing? Guys, listen. As you're coming, I want you to go ahead and just share the program a few times. I'm going to do that as well because today's program is going to be very interesting. It's an opportunity to participate in a conversation. And we started this conversation 2 weeks ago because I believe that we should engage law enforcement to find out necessary things and necessary information. We cannot assume, we cannot just take one side of it. I certainly and firmly believe that we as media organization need to engage and talk and correspond and connect with law enforcement. And especially after what transpired in the BVI, I think it's important and essential that media, and in some instances, media is often playing a role as the opposition, just your voice, the people's voice, right? And so that's why I think it was very important. So on this journey of connecting with law enforcement from Grenada to Trinidad to St. Vincent, and we still have Jamaica, we have St. Lucia, we have Barbados. We're going to go straight to the Caribbean. I don't know if you guys got a chance to check out the interview that we had with Gary Griffiths. We had Mr. Colin John from St. Vincent, who is the Commissioner of Police in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And today, yes, we're still on that journey. An opportunity to connect with law enforcement. Today, we're talking to Grenada. Yes, today we're talking to Grenada. Not all about Grenada. We're talking to Grenada. So people that looked at the Gary Griffiths interview, that looked at the Colin John interview, will now get a chance to understand how law enforcement, how it works in Grenada. And today, I'm happy to have ASP Desmond Richard. We're going to bring him in a little bit. And yes, this is the engagement. So as you're coming, guys, go ahead and share the program. Share it up. Share it up once and share it up a couple times. Let me do that on my end as well. On full disclosure, guys, let me tell you this, right? Before I go any further into the program, life is a precious thing. Life is a very precious thing. Right before we came on the program, guys, I had an asthma attack. and it's something that affects me only during the season, the fall. I mean the spring, sorry. And it's a seasonal allergy that brings on my asthma, and it's not nice not being able to take a full deep breath for a good period of time. So it was particularly difficult, and I just really kind of getting over it a bit. Just came out from some nebulizer treatment, but it's progressing. It's working. So I'm not 100% back yet, but thing will happen. All right? We're here. We're going to make things happen. Yes, guys. Ashton, big up yourself. Thank you so much. Welcome. All right, so everybody there? Everybody share? Everybody share? I also like to thank my son who is in studio with me, as always, Jacoby. He is managing, making my job a lot more easier, and we appreciate the kids. I appreciate Jacoby for all the hard work that he's been doing. All right, so let's go. Guys, I know we promised you that we're going to be having the Commissioner of Police on the program, Commissioner of Police of Grenada today, but there was some changes, some slight changes, and we're welcome back on the program ASP Desmond Richards. How you doing, Mr. Richards? We meet again.
We meet again. I am doing good, Junior. And, I just heard you talk about the asthma attack. I just came from the hospital with a young man who had an attack and is now in the hospital trying to treat it as well. So I think around this season with the flower and little falling from the trees, causing some problems with persons like yourself that have this problem.
Yeah, it makes you look at life and see how precious life is. In just a moment like that, not being able to breathe, it makes you just come back to reality a bit. For me, it really, I'm not back 100% yet. I still have a little slight breathing issues, but I'm better than how I was, let's say, 20 minutes ago. I tell you that. But we're gonna get through this, right? We get through a lot before we're gonna get through this.
Definitely.
Yes. So ASP, again, welcome back to the program. And I appreciate what the Royal Grenada Police Force has been doing to facilitating conversation like these. And as I said earlier, we did promise the audience that we'll have the commissioner, but the commissioner is not here. Any reason why the commissioner decided? I'm happy to have you on board. I'm happy to have you there. Any reason why we can't have the commissioner?
Well, in fact, as we speak, he's engaged in another meeting. In fact, just before we came on, he sent a text to me saying, "Boy, I won't be able to look at the show because I'll be engaged myself, but I know you could do your best."
Well,
but
okay.
I know you'd have liked to be here as Junior because he wants to address some things, so people hear it from him, his perspective, and to a lot of what is happening, the question that has been asked, and it's really, as I said, had it not been for that previous engagement, he would have been here this evening with you. I hope I can fill his big shoe.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't mind having you here. You're always a great guest. We always have great conversation. I really appreciate you even coming on live this time. So let's get right into it, ASP. What are some of the most pressing issues that the RGPF is facing at this time?
Thank you, Julian. Thank you to the listening public as well and population as well. Pleasant good afternoon and welcome. Some of our major concerns at this time in terms of crime is 1, offensive weapons, 2, harm offenses, 3, the sexual crimes. Those are some of the areas that we have seen some issues in, and we are trying our best to address them in the best way possible. Of course, we realize in recent times we had some runaways as well from some teenagers, men, but mostly young females, and of course also the juveniles that are engaged in a number of violent activities. Those are concerning to us. These are concerning to us because it's our youth. These are the future of tomorrow, and we are doing all our best to help them, not to send them to prison so much, because we're having a lot of mediation, a lot of talks in schools and engagements and those things to help them make better decisions so that they would not end up on the wrong side of life, as we say. So those are just some of the concerns that we're having. And as I said, we are pulling out all the stuff to address them the best way we can.
Right. So you mentioned offensive weapon sex crimes in particular. I'm not sure how much information, and in fact, we did. I know Miss John, who was also supposed to be here to give us some information on that. She's not here. But what information do you have as it relates to sex crimes, right? And we saw during the start of the pandemic, because a lot of kids was home, we had a drastic increase. In certain instances, they say as much as double-digit increase in terms of sexual-related crimes against minors. Could you confirm or deny that this is what it is actually up in double-digit as it relates to sex crimes?
I don't have that particular stats before me. But I just have just a little bit from January this year to, comparison with January last year to April at the same period this year. And I remember during that time we had in the region of about 43 cases. That's reported cases, because we can't speak to those that are not reported. Of these 43 cases, one was a male. We had in the same time this year, we have 47 cases. So we have a rise by 4 for this comparison with the same quarter for last year. We had two males in the mix of these 47 cases. A number of arrests has been made. About I think 26 arrests have been made. 17 is under investigation. They had a number of case conferences that was held as well in that regard. But as I said before, we could do this particular topic another time where Inspector John, who is in charge of SVU, and they have all the data, can go back even further and give you more details as to what the findings and the stats is showing us here in UNID.
Yeah. Do you think, I know, I mean, if you have the stats, you do. If you don't, you don't. But the increase in sex crimes, based on preliminary investigation, do you think it was as a result of the kids, it has been underreported before, or is it that more people are reporting these crimes now? Is it prevalent because more people are reporting, or the fact that it's happening more around this time?
That's a very good question, Junior. And we believe that there's more reporting. Since the introduction of the SV unit and the engagement, the public engagement, we have had more people that would have been afraid in the past to come forward, is now coming forward. The introduction of the 400 hotline as well, where you can call, even if you, Junior, has some information, you don't have to say who you are, you could just call, give the information, we follow up on it and see where it leads us. That was work. So we have seen more reporting than we have seen for when I just when I just joined the work, and we are grateful to that because we believe that that also speaks to some confidence building in the police, and in particular those who are responsible for investigating those crimes. And I could tell you they have been doing some tremendous work, engaging schools, engaging parents, engaging communities. And I think that has led to the increase in the reporting that we see as well.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a deterrent, or is there anything that the RGPF or law enforcement is doing or could do to further deter this type of crimes? Because it is double digits. As I mean, again, I don't know if those information are correct, but if it is as much as double digit increase, somebody needs, I mean, I would think that they need to have some kind of way to deter people from these practices. Is anything in place?
What we've been doing, one of the things we've been doing is a lot of education. As I said before, it's particularly within the schools and the community. And what I, in my perspective, what I believe had been left out maybe some time ago, years ago, was that also the engagement with parents. And that too, we have increased in terms of engaging our communication with and our education with parents as well. Apart from that, as I said, a number of measures have been put in place. So assist persons in reporting, and there has been some robust follow-up on the reports that have led to some successes. And seen some matters, a number of matters get to the court and judgment given. And so these are some of the areas and some of the things we've been doing to ensure that at least we curb that practice. You know, it is even worse when you have sometimes your own relatives, maybe father, stepfather, even older men, the teenagers that could have been their father, you know, or the grandfather, the uncles. And so it is left up to the court in terms of the penalties given and whether that penalty too acts as a deterrent. But we also believe, as I said before, in educating the public. I have engaged some schools myself, and one of the things I try to do is you know, try to help people look past the now into the future. You get older, you have children, somebody doing your own child daughter, or you know, because sometimes we don't think about we getting older and what the consequences and repercussion can be and how they impact us, you see. And so we have been doing a lot of engagement into helping that regard.
Yeah, I know we're speaking on sex crimes. The last press conference that was held, the commissioner spoke about reported sex crimes internally within the RGPF. And he made mention of a case that no one else knew about. He introduced it during that press conference there, of a police officer that was investigated for some sexual offense with a minor. Could you update us on that particular case? What's happening internally in the RGPF?
Well, as you would know, Julian, I mean, most people would know by now that the about sexual crimes came out in the paper today about 3 weeks ago. The commissioner has since called a meeting with all the females within the force, that's officers as well as the civilian staff. It was a good meeting. After the meeting, but during the meeting rather, he also introduced a team of led by the lone superintendent, female superintendent, that was responsible for doing some assessment on what the complaints have been. That team, after the assessment, will submit a report to the Commissioner of Police, and based on that assessment, that will determine what sort of action decision that is taken. I want to say this, not just within the force, but even sex outside the force in our civilian population. These crimes are not taken lightly, and the commissioner is very decisive on the actions that to be taken. He's very assertive that once information comes to him that has some merit, and we believe that the evidence is strong, the necessary actions will be taken. In fact, as we speak, we are formalizing both the sexual harassment policy of the force and also the fraternization policy. And of course, why the fraternization policy? Because, while we are adults, a person of somebody of my rank or deputy rank, fraternizing on police compound with a junior rank really doesn't speak well character-wise, And so rather than just having a sexual harassment policy, we also are formalizing a fraternization policy as well to ensure that that is it. But even outside of that, our regulations still give us teeth to deal with such activities or such behaviors once, as I said, it comes to the fore and it's proven there is merit in what the complaint or complaints are. And so apart from that, the commissioner has taken upon himself with the senior ranks to go around take upon himself to visit all the stations. And this is to assure our females and male to some extent that he's with them, he's in support of them, and he would address all the concerns that is coming to him. And just to give them the assurance that he's there and he's standing with them as well. And so a number of decisions has already been taken, of course, and we're going to continue to do that. And let's see with the finding where it leads from there.
Yeah. Again, guys, you're watching Right Along Live. Again, this is your conversation. I don't want to monopolize the conversation. I know that there are a lot of viewers who has questions as it relates to various things that they want some clarity on. So giving you guys the opportunity to call in and share and ask your question live on air. You could call on the phone lines, or you could also call on the WhatsApp. The number that you could call is 718-701-5720. And again, we're chatting here live with ASP Mr. Desmond Richard, who is, of course, very kind of taking his time off to come and chat with us here to clarify some of these issues, and we appreciate that so much. While we wait on that call, I just before we got on air, we saw a release. I saw a release on the GIS page as it relates to. Let me see if I could pull it up real quick. It states the Ministry of Health and Social Security Grenada updating the COVID-19 quarantine, isolation, and vaccination guidelines. Is some of the recommendation there going to be enforced by law enforcement, or is just recommendation?
But I have not seen that update yet, Junior. So I would not be able to speak up to it. But we had a meeting on Monday, and I know the commissioner has even indicated to us, given the slight rise in what we COVID, that all the protocols in terms of must be put in place again. The sanitizing, the wearing of face masks, the distancing, and everything, and that is within the stations, and even to when we go as police officers to take that necessary precaution as well. So I have not, as I said, I've not seen it yet. When I do, I would look at it and know where we move from there.
Okay, all right. So we got a call on the line. Let's jump to the call on the line again. It's your conversation. Caller, you're live. Right Along Live. Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Yes, caller. Yes, you're live.
I really don't know what today's topic is about, to tell you the truth.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're well. I thought you was following the program. So we're having a conversation here with ASP Desmond Richards as it relates to crime, police activities and policing in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Do you have a question for Ms. ASP, or you want to watch the program a little bit more?
Yeah. Let me come back to you. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem. That's fine. All right. Guys, again, this is your conversation, all right? This is your conversation. I want you guys to call in live. The number is 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. While we wait on some of our callers, I don't know if you have that information there handy, but earlier this year, I remember we broke that story about a situation that occurred in St. David, I believe, with the pharmacist, right? I know you may not be able to speak directly on the case because it is in court, I understand that. But the question I want to ask on that particular issue, it was an issue involving, it was an allegation of incest, right? The individual, Lawrence Bell, who was charged with 14 or 13 cases of incest or so forth, right? Now, based on our investigation before we broke that story, law enforcement and already knew that exists, but only made a move on the particular individual after that story was broke. Why did it take so long for law enforcement to make an arrest if they already have information that on a particular individual?
It would be because the department that investigates these matters, the criminal investigation department, it would be difficult for me to say why they took that long. But I would want to add this. Because of the law and procedure, a story might be broken, but if the officers themselves cannot piece it together to make an arrest, then it may be done prematurely and can jeopardize the case as well.
Right.
I should also say this. You might be surprised to know that while, I am very particular about what people post on social media, but, sometimes it's when something is posted, then somebody comes and says something, and sometimes that's just the piece of evidence you needed at the time to put the little piece together and then to make the move that you need to move. Mm-hmm. You see, as law enforcement officers, you have to follow the law. Just understand this. If somebody might be guilty of a crime, but you did not follow the procedure as you ought to have followed it, then even the person might be guilty because you have not followed it. The person can get away on technicality in court, and you don't want that to happen, especially when you're dealing with crimes like those. And so, when there are these cases, you have to be so particular about how you do it, how you follow the procedure, and covering all your bases is that you don't want to mess up. And at the end of the day, the perpetrator goes free on some kind of flimsy technicality, and the victim is suffering two kind of a loss. What the perpetrator did to them, and now watching that perpetrator walk free because the police did not take the time or did not follow a particular procedure or particular line. So, as I said, I don't know whether it is a coincidence that it happens like that, but this is some of the things that happen at times when you're dealing with matters like these.
I want to come back to you, but I got a caller on the line. Caller, you're live. Where are you calling us from?
Good evening. I'm calling from Canada.
Hey, Canada. How are you doing?
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, Mr. Richards.
Good afternoon to you, ma'am.
Okay. Question to you, sir. 2 years ago, when the COVID was rampant, ASP Vanny Cohen came out and made an announcement that stated that, there is an outbreak and, a lot of people would be hospitalized and a lot of people would die, right? And then afterwards, after that statement was made, they came out and kind of debunk it, say it's not true. But the week or 2 weeks after, the thing really happened. And as soon as that happened, Vanny Cohen went missing. So everyone wants to know, where is Vanny Cohen? Because, he was a very good officer, very informative and so. But nobody knows where Vanny Cohen is. I am wondering if he is missing in a Bermuda Triangle. So, sir, can you please tell us where is Vanny Cohen? The nation and the diaspora wants to know. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. Yeah.
So, Mr. Cohen proceeded on a lengthy holiday that was long overdue. And on his return, he was posted to the prosecution department because the officer there went on pre-retirement leave. And so when he returned, being a senior and a former prosecutor, and the person who was already in charge of that particular office, the commissioner thought it best to send him there to take some control over that office again. So he's the officer now in charge of prosecution department.
Caller, you have a follow-up question for Mr. Richard? Okay, she's not there. Just to follow up on that, and I want to come back to my other question as well. So was it just pure coincidence that those happened chronologically like that? That he made mention of that, the story was out, he came out and denied the story, and he went on leave and he came back and he was transferred to prosecution. Was it pure coincidence?
I really don't know how to answer that, Junior. It could be. No. I really don't know how to answer that one. That's a tough one.
Okay. Well, hey, we conversating. We conversating. 718-701-5720, guys. We're talking here with ASP Desmond Richard, and I want to give you guys an opportunity to call in and chat as well. So the phone number that you call is 718-701-5720. That's 718-701-5720. And you could call on the WhatsApp, or you could call on direct on the phone lines. Again, the number is 718-701-5720. So, back to that question I asked you before the caller came in, right? In that particular case, we didn't bring any new evidence to the floor. At the point in time that we broke the story, we did not even release the person's picture. In fact, it was a blurred picture. No one could identify his complete face. It seemed to us, right, and I could be wrong, that it was like no one wanted that story to get out there, but when he did, everyone decided that they should make a move on it, because we didn't. That's forever confusing me. Why was it that Lawrence Bell arrested 20 minutes after a photo was posted saying that we are aware of the incest situation that is happening with it, the alleged incest that's happening with him? It just seemed that it was very coincidental. And again, you said that probably we released some new information that the police would have used to make a move on him, but we didn't do that. We did not release any new information, but instead he was arrested minutes before.
No, I didn't say you release. I said sometimes when things like that happen, sometimes new information comes. That's when people think, well, let me say something, let me do something. Because we have seen that happen in the past. But I didn't mean that you release it. I just mean that during that time, somebody, and that's just, I'm not saying that's what happened, because I don't know what led to that, yeah? But I was just explaining some of the ways the police end up having information that lead to, either a drug boss or arrest or something that's on. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's jump back to the phone line again. Guys, it's your conversation. Caller, you live. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from Brooklyn. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Go right ahead, caller.
Hi, Dexter. Good evening. How are you?
This is Desmond. Mr. Desmond, ASP Desmond Richard.
That's also my name. That's also my name, Junior.
Oh, Dexter is your name too? Okay, well, she know you. She know you. Go right ahead,
That's
caller.
his name.
Okay.
I have a question in regards to the COVID and COVID numbers. That it's very high again in Grenada. Are they planning to do anything differently in terms of permits for pets? Are we going to be doing some restrictions? Because right now the number is over 1,000 cases. So my question is, what's going to happen since it's getting out of control again?
Well, the COVID committee / the government have not given us any information yet. They are the ones that the committee sits along with the medical team. They look at the trends. They determine what is the next course of action. But they have not told us anything yet or released any official thing to us yet, so that we can make a determination as to what happens there. But as it stands now, no formal decision has been made in terms of to put any restrictions in place as well.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
we are waiting for the Ministry of.
Good evening.
All right. Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. All right. Again, 718-701-5720, guys. Your conversation here. We have ASP, Mr. Desmond Richard, and I appreciate the respect in which everyone is calling in and asking their question. Although they may have, they might be upset about a particular issue. We're not here to disrespect the Assistant Police ASP Desmond, and we appreciate that going forward. It's all about respect, and that's how we'll get our point across, with that level of respect to continue through the program. I appreciate you guys. Again, the number you could call is 718-701-5720. While we wait, there was an incident. In fact, the mother of this young man came on Ride Along last week, and she stated that very little or no information has been transferred to her as it relates to the death of her son. I'm talking about the incident involving the young man, Mr. Alexander, who was, the news was that he overtook a vehicle and he ran into a service vehicle of the RGPF. What could you tell us about that and the status of that investigation?
Okay, so the investigation in that matter has been completed. The file was sent to the DPP office, and of course, that DPP sent it to. It is sent to the court for inquest. Now, inquest is simply where the file goes to the coroner, which is the magistrate. He calls a hearing on the matter, and to hearing as to into the cause of the death or the death itself. And based on the information and the investigation into that, that he then determine whether the case goes to criminal trial and whatever the evidence may point to. So presently, it is in the court for a coroner for the an inquest, coroner's inquest.
Right. Now, the mother, as I said, it seemed to me, based on she sharing her story, and that was her story to tell. She was saying that a lot of this information has not been translated to her. She has to go through the hurt of losing her son. That's one. And now she's going through just not even having any kind of closure. Is there some kind of department or person or whatever that deals with contacting people and keeping them up to date? Because she does not have a lawyer. And she just like out in the wilderness. Is there any way or any contact that has been made to her to just give her updates on where the case is going? Because she don't know anything that's going on right now.
Okay, so let me on behalf of the Commissioner of Police as well apologize to her if that has been happening. But usually when we have any matter being investigated, the investigator communicates with the victims and relevant persons, giving them feedback. However, if that is not happening, they can contact the CRD department, and we will, even if we don't have the information, we will track the information and give them a feedback. And we try to do it a lot because sometimes, and it's not making excuses, but sometimes you get caught up with so many other things happening that police sometimes forget to give those kind of feedbacks. And so we are here also to assist in that regard as the Community Relations Department, so that when persons call in about particular concerns, we contact the department or the various stations, find the information and give them feedback, or we contact the investigator, who that person might be, to get in contact with them, and then they give us feedback to tell us whether or not they got in contact with the individual and what type of feedback that was done. That one of the things we don't want to do, Junior, is, let's say like you in charge of a station, I call in and I say, look into that for me. And there's nothing happened and I don't know. So I want to know, so that if the commissioner or the senior officers ask, we can give them the information that is required. And we that is something that we stress a lot, and the commissioner stressed over and over with officers, please give people feedback. Give people feedback. So when that happens, as I said, contact us. We will find the information. We will give you the feedback.
Right. So if the mother is watching, I'm going to encourage her to follow up because, she is not in a good place. And I'm sure she's probably watching the program right now. When she came on, it was a very sad moment that she's dealing with the situation all over again. But let's move on. We have a question on the screen. D Sharp is asking, do you think that it's sensible police investigating their colleagues within the RGPF? If yes, why is it our neighbors are not following that trend? Okay, first part. Police investigating police.
As the commissioner alluded to in the press brief only last week, that we have had there's no stats to say that the police have not done a good job. In fact, we have had several persons sent to prison. We still have somebody in the prison, and the police have investigated that the matter. And let us understand how the process works. If something happens, the investigation of the police investigating police does not rest only with the investigator. Once that happens, the information goes to the commissioner of police. The commissioner of police, they have to give him feedback as to how the investigation is going, where the investigation is at, and when the file is completed, that file is sent to the DPP for review. The DPP reviews the file, and if there is anything that is missing from that file, he sends it back with the instruction for further investigation. When he is satisfied, he will state what decision that must or should be made. So I understand the concern, really do understand the concerns, but we have not had, as I said, any cases yet, per se, where the police have investigated their own, and the result has not been what should be. As I said, it doesn't stay with us. And that's why a few years ago, we took the even though we do the investigation, but we took the final decision away from us, but sent it to the DPP office for review, so that we can ensure that whatever happens, the DPP office, the Director of Public Prosecution Office, is aware, and the final decision rests with them as to where we go forward with that particular matter.
All right, let's jump to the phone line. We got a caller on the phone line. Lydia, I see you on the WhatsApp. I'll take you next. We got a caller on the phone line. Caller, go right ahead.
Hi, Junior. How you doing?
I'm good. Where are you calling us from?
New Jersey.
Go ahead, New Jersey.
I want to find out if there's any update on the case where that lady, the elderly lady, got raped. Did they find the pervert yet?
Right. I did have that in my notes to ask about that. With the elderly lady, right? There was a
country.
Yeah, somewhere in Monks and Davance up there.
Drank her juice after.
Right. Yeah. She was robbed.
Did they find the pervert yet?
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. That's something I wanted to ask as well. Thank you so much, caller. Yeah.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for that question as well, Colin. No, we have not made a breakthrough in that case yet, but I can tell you this: it is not closed, and they are working feverishly to bring those matters, that matter in particular, and others like that, to close. Because, of course, sometimes you may sit down and think, what if it's your own grandmother? How you would feel, And but we're working really, really hard. Just as we did when there were some murders and we realized years were going on and we couldn't solve them. The commissioner introduced a cold case team, and we had a number of breakthroughs. So we still believing that we will have breakthrough in those matters that we yet to have breakthrough in. But apart from that, we have had some breakthrough, like the elderly mentally man who got beaten by young guys. They were arrested. The one that was chopped in his land, he was arrested. The person was the perpetrator was arrested and remanded in custody. So we have had some breakthroughs with support of most of our elders. unfortunately, not all yet, as in the case of this lady, this old unfortunate lady. But I believe, I have faith. I believe we will find the perpetrator before long.
Right. Okay, we got another caller on the line. Caller, you're live on the WhatsApp. Go right ahead.
Yeah, good evening again.
Yes.
Mr. Richards, there is a trend in Grenada that underage girls and even young boys have been going missing, going for a week, 2 weeks, going missing, right? Underage girls. And then afterwards, it would be brought to the police. And after they are found, they would just come out and say they are found, but no update as to their whereabouts, where they were, who they were with, or nothing like that. When they are found, do you investigate where they were, who they were with, and so forth? Because sometimes it could be, older men that they with, or maybe they don't want to go home because they are afraid to go home after school because what is taking place with them at home. Because there are a lot of nastiness going on in Grenada. A lot of nastiness, Mr. Richards, a lot, Mr. Richards, is Lydia James speaking.
My cousin.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, have a good evening.
All right, thanks.
And thanks for that question.
Yes.
I am so happy that she asked the question, Junior. Yes, we do follow up. We would not always put where they are found because sometimes while the case is being investigated, one of the things the police has to do is not only protect the victim, but also the perpetrator from, friends and relatives that may want to harm them as well. So sometimes we don't put that information, and most times we don't put that information, especially while the case is still investigated. But I can say this: a number of the arrests that have been made stem from those things. Because of course, if you're harboring a minor and to add insult to injury, having sexual intercourse with them when they are minor and you're adult, that will not pass just like with a slap on the wrist. In fact, all of the matters that we have, and some of the brief stats I gave you earlier on, all of it has been investigated. A number of arrests has been made. It's only, I think, now 3 victims that does not want to speak yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't just say, okay, they don't want to speak, because there could be a number of reasons. It could be fear, for a number of things. So we work with them. We ensure that they receive counsel. And, in fact, it was supposed to be Thursday. It was postponed for another date, but we are having a collaborative meeting with all the stakeholders, social development, Ministry of Social Development, all the stakeholders. Because of these same things we have seen, we want to ensure that we tighten our collaborative effort in dealing with those things. And not just dealing with the children, but as Lydia already said, the home. Why things they are running away? What is going on in the house? That we need to, we as social development need to address as well. Junior will know sometimes some of these same children, they run from the same thing that is happening in the home and go somewhere and do it because they may feel better to treat somebody else, but when it's their father or being abused by a mother, that is a whole thing altogether. And so those things are investigated, and we are strengthening that in terms of our collaborative effort to ensure that we deal not with a part of the matter, but a whole of the matter. So if the father and brother and uncle and mother needs counsel and needs to be addressed, whether criminally or otherwise, based on what has been happening that led to that, then that will be done. And of course, the child, is a minor. So we pull out all the stuff to ensure that child get counsel and they understand, some of the dangers in leaving the home and going where they would have ended up, and to help them be better persons in society. Yes, so
I understand, the process of the investigation, going from the police and heading to the DPP, and the DPP could even come back and say, go ahead and further do some more investigation on this particular incident. But we had an incident that we broke on right along a few years ago, where a mother came on the program and she spoke to us about a situation that happened to her son, right? After that, he was arrested. And she told us that the child told her that he sexually molested her about 18 times. So much so, when the child started count numbers, so she said, stop. Based on the child recollection, this happened more than one time. But here's what happened. They went to the police, they filed a report, they subsequently arrested the man. But the police officer who took the report wrote it in such a way that they could have only recommended one instance of sexual abuse against that child. So my question to you is, how experienced are the police in writing up investigation to send it off to the DPP so that we don't have cases where criminals could get away because the case is not written or is not investigated properly, it's not presented properly to the DPP.
So Drew, let me I find it hard to digest that, and for the simple reason is this: if you come to the station and a statement is recorded from you, that statement should be reviewed by either the NCO or some senior person with more experience and understanding how to look for what we call the points to prove in the particular matter, particular case. Yes,
right. If
that person reviewing that statement realizes that there are elements, key elements missing, then he or she, whoever is required to go back and get that information. And that's the process. That's the right process. And so when the file is, that statement is properly taken, then you go ahead and you can adequately charge, because you would not know what to charge for and how much to charge for, except that the details, the right details are captured in that statement. See? And so what should have happened, if that is what happened, I'm not sure. What should have happened is that on hearing the complaint from the mother, then whoever is responsible, the NCO, the officer in charge of the station, should have had that file, look at that file, have a conversation, if they have to, with the mother again, to determine whether or not all the details were captured and before that file go to court. Because once you charge and go to court, the magistrate, no time for that. He or she just deals with what is in front of them.
Yes, and that's what happened. That's what happened. The man got off.
So you see, so if that happened, it's very unfortunate. And we and that's why we're even doing more training now and to ensure that officers really understand. And this is not an excuse. We have a pretty young force now. In fact, just a few days ago, we had a meeting, and that came up because what we now realizing is that all the senior persons, almost all the senior persons, is now gone. That from retirement and resignation and a number of things. Only a few that is there anymore right now. Sorry, and we realize that is a very young force that is seriously in need of some development, and so we are moving in that direction. In fact. Even the commissioner initiate some training. Even senior officers will be involved as well in some of the training that is coming up. So it is unfortunate if that happens. That has happened, but we are putting mechanisms in place to ensure that things like these doesn't happen. As I said, one of the things we preach for our officers is that just think. All you have to do is think you're not a police and you are the one facing that kind of a situation. How would you feel? And if you know that you would not feel good about it, then treat the person, your customer, just the way you would want to feel. You would want to feel if it is you in their position and they in your position. So we preach that. That is something we preach. Of course, in every organization where we are people, and not everybody follows what needs to be followed. But it's been preached on a regular basis, so that persons, really settle down and do what they have to do in a proper way.
Right. I mean, listen, I like the idea, the proposal by the Commissioner of Police in putting together a squad to deal with internal matters, sexual abuse in the RGPF, and I like the fact that they are doing things in the RGPF that I'm not seeing done in other Caribbean islands where sexual crimes are prevalent. So, I mean, I have to give kudos to the initiative. On paper, it is a good initiative. Implementation is another thing, because where I sit, and we sit in two different chairs, because where I sit, I get calls on a consistent basis, Mr. Richard. Someone who wants to come on and share their story about something that happened to their child. We do our internal investigation as well to verify some kind of validity of the story, if it's credible. We do all of that stuff behind the scenes before we bring it on air. In fact, out of all the stories that we bring on, sometimes 60 to 70% of those stories don't make it on air, because after we did our internal investigation, we concluded that it is not TV worthy, or it's not accurate, or we cannot verify. So a lot of times, but we do get a lot of calls, and it's heart-wrenching to see when there's effort that put into an investigation, and we feel like we have that person cornered for sexually molesting a child. And I know it's not your fault, because he goes to court, and then the magistrate gave that person a slap on the wrist and send them out. Let me take that call, and then I'll come back to concluding my point. Caller, where are you calling us from? Go right ahead, caller. Go ahead, right ahead, Grenada.
Something I want to ask you was not putting into the program. Is something the open air solo, the headphone that you have available. I want to know where I can get it in Grenada.
Okay. Oh, you were talking about the rider's headphone. Okay, so you got to call us, or after the program, I'll give you information where you can get the rider's headphones in Grenada. Okay.
Okay. So right. So just give me a time when I can call.
Yeah, after, like, in next half an hour.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you. Yeah, telling you, we talking police, they're talking headphone. Yeah, I understand.
They like it.
Yeah, they like it. That's all good. Yeah. So what more that we need to do? What more that media, community, people in general need to do to curb or to make sure, whether it's a name and shame, whatever needs to be done? What's your recommendation that media, what role could we play?
Let me first of all, applaud the media too for the job they've been doing. I mean, we are not perfect, Junior, but I think the engagement with the media and the police has grown significantly over the years. And we are coming on, we are sharing what we're doing. In fact, as we speak, we are putting together some stats now, and to share the amount of engagement with schools and parents, so that people understand when you see the police, they are not just sitting there waiting for a crime. There's a lot happening behind the scenes. We want to share that, and I want to applaud the media for that. And of course, again, applaud the media for some of the information that they put out, because sometimes when that information comes out, then we really realize either the seriousness of something or something is really happening that we need to look deeper into. And that helps, that helps a whole lot. Because sometimes persons would rather to call your program or another program even before they call the police. Because they believe if they say to the media, then the police might want to pay more attention, so to speak. And so it is a plus in that regard. You may not always get it right, but it's a plus in that regard. As it relates to the public, I must to applaud the public for the assistance that have been given to the police. I believe our public police partnership has grown, notwithstanding a lot of what we may be hearing. I believe that's good. In fact, Junior, if we had not had that public partner, police partner relationship, we could not have been enjoying a 78% solving rate. I mean, I'm sitting in my office now speaking with you. A crime might be happening down in let's say, Melville Street in St. George's. I am not there. Some of my police is not there to see it. It is the eyes of the public that capture it and brings it to the police. When we are doing investigation at murder rape, it is the eyes of the public that capture theft. Eyes of the public that captures that, and that's why we are. In fact, even the commissioner's strategic focus is heavy. The main pillars of it is community policing, building public police partnership, the CABs, the community the citizen advisory body, sorry, the neighborhood watch. You know, all these, the partnership we have with the principals and the teachers and the students, and now the PTA body, the Parent Teachers Association body. So we have been putting ourselves in all of these, and we are focusing now on community groups as well. Because we usually say this, in the days when we had the big bad police, those days kind of a pass. We need police with tact and friendliness, police that can relate, that can communicate, and can show, notwithstanding I'm a police and I'm here to make sure that the law is obeyed, but at the same time I'm a human being just like you. We can laugh, we can chat, and we can have some fun together. And I don't drink alcohol, but we could drink something, you know, and build that sort of a relationship. So, again, we would not have been deemed as one of, if not the safest country in the region, had it not been for the assistance of the public. So we are just encouraging. Are you hearing me? Okay, you're back.
My name is Junior George, founder and host of Ride Along Live, and I'm inviting you to become a paid subscriber to this platform with your support of just $4.99 per month. You could do so.
Hi guys, we are back. We lost some internet there, and that's why we were blanked out for a little bit there, but we're back. I'm trusting that everyone is hearing us fine. I'm trusting everyone is hearing us fine. Let me double check and make sure that we're going out fine. Again, guys, we're speaking with ASP Desmond Richard, who is talking to us about the RGPF. Yes, I think, okay, we're back. We're good. All right, ASP, I think that we're at that point right now that I want to dive into a little bit of some current issues that's happening around the region as it relates to corruption, right? We've seen what happened in the BVI. And I'm going to pose the same question that I posed to the Commissioner of Police in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. What is in place right now, right? What mechanism does the RGPF have in fighting corruption? Now, not corruption, drug dealers running around and money. Now, I'm talking about corruption in the highest levels of government. What is in place to fight corruption from that aspect?
I think I would leave that one for the commissioner to answer, Junior.
Yeah.
But of course, we usually, it is a common saying that no one is above the law.
Right.
And of course, everything is done by evidence. And once the evidence is produced, then we follow the procedure by law to deal with what the evidence says. As to what is in there specific, as I said before, I think I would leave that one for what the songs for the big boys to answer.
Yeah. Okay. That's one of the questions which I think, because we saw what happened in the BVI. And I think it's a relevant question. But you're right, the commissioner is the one that should really take this up, take up this question on corruption. Has there ever been? Let me ask you this question because you go ahead.
What we should know, Junior, is that the world, as you know, it has become very small, a global market, and so you have to realize that everybody's watching everybody now. You realize how those in the BVI was caught, not so much by BVI law enforcement, but by the Americans and the kind of system they have in place.
Right.
So it doesn't matter who we are now. It is critical that we are very careful as to what decision we make and how we do it, because the eyes of the world and the bigger states and nations are upon us and are upon all. So just sometimes when you think you might be getting away with something, because, we're small, we don't have all the sophisticated investigative mechanism that as a lot of other nations have, but somebody else might be watching you. And I think if we look at that, then we'll be much more careful as to what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. Because as I said, we not categorize the local entity, but the international entity might just pick up on some things you might be doing.
Right. Adriana King, she said that anyone in the force should be able to answer this question, Junior. The commissioner is not the one running around and must one running around. He must have passed the decision to his subordinates.
I expected that question. I expected that comment.
Yeah. So no comment on that.
No, not at this time.
Not at this time. Okay. All right. Hopefully we get a chance to speak to the commissioner. And this is one of the big topical issues. As I said, I posed this question to the commissioner of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, also former commissioner of Trinidad, and give us an idea. And one of the things that he said was that the former commissioner, Gary Griffith in Trinidad, he said that during some early stages of he being commissioner, he actually was investigating ministers. And have there ever been a situation where any police officer ever investigated or any ministers ever got arrested? Have you ever heard about any in our territory?
Not to my knowing. I can't recall that happening at all in my time.
Is it that ministers are such honorable people that they never do anything wrong at all, or or is it that they just never been investigated? A lot will be revealed, especially in the case involving Foy from the BVI. A lot of questions in relations to corruption has been circulating, and I said I would like if we had a commissioner, but he will be back. I'm reassuring the viewers that he will be back at some point in time to chat with us. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, ASP Desmond Richard. Any closing words you want to leave with us before we wrap up?
But I was saying before we went off air, of course, the Commissioner of Police and the entire Grenada Police Force would really like to thank the general public for the assistance that they have been giving. And I mean, not just in solving crime, but also in helping us have some of the resources that we need to be able to do our work on a daily basis well. And we could just ask for, we just want to encourage them to continue and to build greater collaboration. And please be our neighbor's keeper. Look out for your neighbor. Look out for your neighbor's daughter, your neighbor's son, your neighbor's plantation. Because, as I usually say, community policing, while we have been pushing that, but if the community themselves is not policing the community and looking out for one another, then crime spiral and we have more problems in dealing with them. But we really, really appreciate the help. We appreciate the assistance we're getting from the principals now in the schools and the teachers in the schools. Just sometimes the ordinary man in the street. And we really want to applaud them for that and thank you. And, the people that commits crime is not a lot, is in the minority. So sometimes we hear things and we think it's all this. No, it's just a minority. And I think if we really work closer together, we cannot eliminate crime, but we can squeeze it to a point where it becomes manageable, and we can do more prevention rather than cure. And so I want to thank you, listeners. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for your support all around in the diaspora as well. They have been doing a tremendous job in helping us and helping the nation as a whole develop and grow. And we really want to thank you. And we want to thank you, Junior, for always engaging. We need people like you around, because sometimes people, say, well, Junior, this. No, we need persons that can engage and can about it, and can engage, because it keeps us on our toes as well. It keeps us thinking. It keeps us, ensuring that we do the right thing, we say the right thing, and so even you, I want to commend for the job you've been doing and how you have been keeping persons informed and engaging your expanse of which you've been, involved in, not just Grenada, but the Caribbean. That's one of the things we must know as police officers. We cannot only stay focused on what is happening within your own within your own country. You need to know what is going on around the world and around the region, because that has a lot of impact or indication of what is coming and what can come your way, and how you can put mitigating circumstances or things in place to ensure that we do not feel the great brunt of those crimes that can occur and can put us on the back foot. So once again, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for engaging me this evening. And I just want to say, anytime you have questions and I can be there to help answer it, I will make myself available. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate it. I did say we had the last call. This is the final call. A call somewhere very far away. It seemed like it's some place in England. I'll give them an opportunity to ask the last question. Caller, you the final question. Go right ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Mr. George, how are you?
I'm good. You're live.
Good. I let me take this opportunity to introduce myself first. I am currently in England. I'm Reverend Phillips. I used to be a police in the St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force. When it comes to the topic, you're touching something very touchy and something very significant, and also the topic where you touch on corruption as well. What I want to see in able to help or in aid for police to do the job, whether it's in St. Vincent, in the BVI, in Grenada, in Antigua, or whichever way it is. I would like to see from an international perspective where you have exchange program where police officers come to London to be trained, because you have people coming back who have been deported. You have people coming back who have been more or less been sent back for one reason or the other, and they're coming back to live back in a society in the Caribbean that sometimes don't accept them, and then they commit other crimes and so on. So what I would like to do, I would like to see the commissioner of every post around the OECS region having police officers trained internationally, whether it's in London or Australia or which, just have the exchange program. And also, I would like to see in every post, because people forget that police officers are human beings, and you are once a police officer, but always a civilian. Because once you leave and you retire from the police or whichever post is, you're going to go back to live a civilian life, and then you have to mingle with civilians. So what I would like to see also, I would like to see every commissioner and for ASP that's on the program now. If you could take this up to the commissioner, I would like to see you have officers who are suffering with depression and so many other different things. And people forget that police officers are human beings also. What I would like to see is the commissioner have chaplains working alongside the police officers to whether it's, on a daily basis have prayer or talk about things that affect police officers, and how we can improve public relations, whether it be with the police or politicians or whichever or whatever minority it is. I would like to see something like that happen. And Junior, if there is any way that, we could help internationally, I would touch base with you after, but I would really like to see, that all of the Caribbean islands, OECS in whichever way, I would like to see that they have an exchange program where people exchange ideas, exchange, the way to mingle, because not all the police officers and forces work the same. They should work the same, but not everybody work like that. But I would like to see in the near future that police officers around the OECS region work together for a simple cause.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, caller. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and your input on the program. Again, guys, this is it for today. Right Along Live. Again, ASP, thank you so much for joining us. I will keep in touch, my brother.
Definitely. Thank you, man. And have a blessed good evening.
All right. Thanks again. Yes. Yeah, guys. So there you go. And listen, I appreciate you guys, being respectful as always to our guests. Calling in and you have legitimate concerns and you were able to articulate your legitimate concerns, but at the same time, continue to be respectful to our guests. We really appreciate that. And thank you so much. It is Tuesday, which means that it's just about 4 days away from my birthday party. And I want you guys to come out and celebrate with me. This is Friday. So if you're in New York, or you're going to be in New York, or if you just want to fly down in New York for my birthday party, let me tell you all about it right now. This is what's happening on Friday. Make sure that you're there. Kobe, tell them about what's happening on Friday.
On Friday, May 13th, Brooklyn, New York, are you ready to play a wicked mass as Ride Along presents Midnight Mass, the Ultra Glow Fest. Everything must glow. Junior George official birthday party featuring live from Grenada for the very first time. Lil Jello,
Why not Ginger?
Jello,
And you play bad girl.
together with the Energy Kings of Soca, Looney Spark, and Electrify Live. Also coming to shell the place down, it's Mr. Lex and Denise Sosiwa Belfon. All going down inside 178 Newport Street, Brooklyn, New York. Get your Oliver tickets for only $30 more at the door. Get them on Eventbrite, nightmass.eventbrite.com. And for more details, 718-701-5720. Your DJs, DJ Hot Stepper, Lil B, and DJ Spice. It's Midnight Mass, the Ultra Glow Fest. Glow sticks on entry. Wear something white. Midnight Mass. Inside of Brooklyn, 178 Newport Street. Friday, May 13th.
Yeah, guys, so that's Friday. I want to see you guys inside of the place on Friday. Come and celebrate the big birthday party with me. All right, that's in Brooklyn, New York. If you have not yet gotten your tickets, you got to go to nightmass.eventbrite.com. That's nightmass.eventbrite.com. Catch you guys later. Peace out. On behalf of all our team here, Right Along, we got Jacoby and the mixer. We got in our chat room, we got Kibbs. Thank you so much. We got Gail. Thank you so much. And Deanne Fraser, thank you so much. Our executive producer, hardest working person on the team, Lois JJ. Catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace out. Good night.
Williams Funeral Service serve you with dignity and compassion as you mourn. Every day, we embark on the journey of life, and one day, the journey will end. It's on that day that you can entrust the celebration of life of your loved ones to David Williams Funeral Service. Call 718-291-3823.
Wait is over. The time is now. The time is now. Get ready for Mass. Get ready for Mass. Get ready for Mass. We are back.
Hi, my name is Junior George, founder and host of Ride Along Live, and I'm inviting you to become a paid subscriber to this platform with your support of just $4.99 per month. You could do so much to help this platform grow and to help us help you and others around the world. We encourage you to click that link and become a supporter today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Well, it's on right along, so it's happening here.
Came over here. What does it mean? You know, I grew up in what I guess you call a typical family.
We break all the stories, and that's just a fact. And that's why everyone has a story to tell.
Right Along Live, I mean, yeah, it's the real deal.